Okay, welcome back, everybody. I wanna start this next movie review with saying this is the second of 3 Johnny Depp movies that I'm going to review tonight. The first one, obviously, being the last one I did, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. This next one, this goes back to when I reviewed, and I'm going to have to talk about this movie too, Sweeny Todd. This is one of the movies that Johnny Depp was in that's a musical, to be completely honest. And I've seen the director of this in like a new version of a movie that he made famous and did as Hairspray. But I'm not reviewing Hairspray. Johnny Depp, of course, was not in that movie. But I saw the John Travolta version of Hairspray. You could pay me to watch that one again. But this one, I absolutely just... This movie, I find that I want to review here, absolutely hilarious. But, as I mentioned in Sweeny Todd, this is one of the ones that Johnny Depp did not do his vocals on. He didn't sing a word of his vocals in here. He was lip-syncing. I have to tell you that. But I absolutely think this movie is a trip. It's another teen angst movie, but it's a musical. It's from John Waters, and it's Crybaby. This is the director's cut that I have here. I prefer the director's cut over the original version. It's got, you know, like the missing, like, you know, like more scenes in it. Some good scenes. It's got, of course, you know, Johnny Depp in it. Then Amy Locane, who I haven't seen in a movie in like a while. Susan Terrell, Iggy Pop, and Ricki Lake, Traci Lords, and Polly Bergen. This was, you know, Ricki Lake in this movie, this was before she had gastric bypass surgery or stomach stapling or whatever it was she did. But she was also in John Waters' version of Hairspray that he actually directed. She was, of course, you know, rather chunky. This is, of course, Amy Locane here. This is Ricki Lake. That's Traci Lords. I got a funny story about Traci Lords here. She actually, while they were filming this movie, they arrested her. And they arrested her for some stuff she had done previously. And if you know anything about that history, you'll know what I'm referring to. And this is an interesting thing. In the outtakes, they are actually in the thing about the making of this movie. They talk about they invented a club called Cry Mary, you know, because she got arrested and everything. And they were talking about, you know, car theft and, you know, going to jail for drunk and disorderly and everything. This movie, though, on the other hand, it's, you know, about a gang of Drapes that Johnny Depp leads, you know, called Crybaby. You know, his character's name is Crybaby. And Allison Veronon-Williams, who's played by Amy Locane, you know, is trying to, you know, go from being square to being a Drape. Oh my gosh, it is just, this movie's a trip. It's like, as John Waters described it in the making of this movie the best, this is a cross between, like, all those gangland movies they used to show, or used to make. In fact, one of the guys that made this, was in this movie, did one of those, like, teenage, you know, gang movies as a young guy back in the day. I forget how far back. But, you know, it was kind of like those drapes and everything. Iggy Pop is in this movie. Iggy Pop, and I forgot to mention this when I did Tank Girl, is in Tank Girl as Ratface. And he's got a small part in that movie. But Iggy Pop plays Uncle Belvedere in Crybaby. And there, in one of the beginning scenes, and Iggy Pop is in the scene, it shows Ricki Lake, Traci Lords, and Johnny Depp and that whole gang, his whole gang, it's these kids here, all coming up to Johnny Depp and Ricki Lake's house, and there sits Iggy Pop in a wash basin, and it is just the funniest thing. And you know, he's like, you know, you caught me in my birthday suit, butt naked. And then their grandma, who I forget what her name is, Ramona, or what the woman's name is in real life, but it's Ramona Ricketts in the movie, comes out and shoots a gopher and says, "Damn gophers are digging up my yard," and you know, and she's like, "What are you kids waiting for? Let's rock and roll," you know. And it's just this movie. You can watch this with your kids. It is like a cross between like I said, the Gangland movies, but it's also kind of like an Elvis Presley movie too. John Walters described it like like making fun of like an Elvis movie and kind of like a gang movie like they used to make back in the day in black and white. But I do recommend this movie because it is set in the 50s, 1954 as a matter of fact. But the name of the actual, you know, making of is called "It Came From Baltimore." It is just so great to watch that. I mean, and Polly Bergen and Susan Terrell did a good job too. In fact, I think Susan Terrell is Ramona Ricketts. But oh my God, this movie is just, it is great, and I really do recommend it. And this came out in, well, shoot, I believe it came out in the 90s, like 1991, 1992, something like that. Oh, yeah, it was like 90 or 91, I forget which. Let me see if it, well, it doesn't say here, but yeah, I do recommend watching this movie, especially with your, this is another one of, you know, those movies you can watch with, like, your high school kids, and they will get a kick out of it, okay? I have some more movies, and we're going to get reviewing here, so hang on, okay?